to this team, what have you heard since they scrimmaged on Saturday?
I'm hearing the offensive line is looking really good. Just chatted around with a few different people. I'm still standing by this defense is going to be better than a lot of people think. I've heard very positives out of it. Um, and what I said during the spring, I said, this linebacker group doesn't have the experience and maybe the leadership that we had last year, but I think overall they're a more athletic and fast group. And I've been hearing the same thing that I saw during the spring. And I feel good about this D line. So those are the things I wanted to hear just to confirm kind of what I saw during the springtime. And I've heard Norris is looking really good in practice. He's getting his footwork down, reading the defense better, um, keeping his eyes downfield. So I don't know. We'll continue to see. I don't take a ton away from scrimmage one. I think scrimmage 2 and 3 is kind of you kind of figure out what you have. So we'll continue to see, but I've heard a lot of positives, not really any negatives, honestly.
John, I don't know if they will scrimmage a third time this year. I know they haven't announced it. I know they've got the second one coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, they'll scrimmage this Saturday, and then typically you do one more.
That's
and
right.
then that's kind of like in that last scrimmage, you typically have your guys who you feel like this is who we're going into the game with. This is who's starting. These are the guys who are going to play. So I don't know. We'll see. I know we always did 3 scrimmages during the preseason, and then I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out. I'm trying to go back through my email here, but they've been shifting gears a little bit this year. This has been probably the strangest preseason from a communication standpoint, not in a bad way at all. From South Carolina, usually we get the whole fall schedule. They only gave us the first 3 days, and then they gave us the rest of it. And they've already changed a few things, and there's some sort of science that goes into a lot of that with Shane Beamer. I think that's partly why they're going to scrimmage in the afternoon this coming week to kind of help with Virginia Tech, the Heat.
Scrimmage 2 to me is the most important one, though. Scrimmage 2 to me is the most important one because that gives you an idea of who you think your starters are going to be and who's the key depth pieces that are rotating in.
Right.
So this weekend's a big one because after this, you've already been through a little over 2 weeks of practice. So you'll kind of start dialing in your starting 22 players.
Saturday the 16th. Yeah, 2:05 is the time they have listed for this scrimmage, and then the rest they don't have another scrimmage on it yet. But we'll see if they do that or not. All right. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and JC has got it up on the Big Spur right now. His latest intel. Again, this isn't intel that somebody said these are the 5. That's not what happened. He's using intel, and then he's making basically a prediction off of his opinion with some intel. And we could see another true freshman starting up front this year. Shed Surratt was a name that was brought up to me maybe 2 weeks ago or so, or right around when camp was kind of getting rolling. Maybe not that far. I guess it couldn't be that far. And now we're through a scrimmage going into the second one, John. So obviously, if Shed Surratt is in contention to start, maybe at that left guard spot, he clearly had a good day this past weekend. And you mentioned the importance of scrimmage number 2. So he's a guy that we'll probably be paying attention to over the next 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, it's tough for a freshman to come in and start. It just is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be surprised if he is the starter, but like I said last week, you got to play the best player. I mean, it's as simple as that. You got to put your best 11 out on the field at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
So if he does, I mean, that's very impressive. And if you got a true freshman starting, that means you got probably at least 3 years of this guy. So, it's a good feeling, but we'll continue to see how it goes. Like I said, this weekend will be so weekend will be big for all those players to go out and prove themselves. Basically, could be the last time in the scrimmage. Typically in the past, we scrimmage the weekend before a game. Nothing crazy, but you go out there, run a few series, and then let some of the younger guys go. But um, because you want to almost treat it like a game week going in the next week, like you just came off of a game, and then you're into your routine that you're going to be into the whole season. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see if they do that or not. Honestly, if you feel like you've learned enough from scrimmage two, and you feel good about the way practice is going, maybe you don't need a third scrimmage. But I know we always did three. So, and
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of teams do three during the preseason. So we'll just see. Just because you don't get any preseason games,
Yeah.
so it's always good to get those repetitions of a game-like, atmosphere.
Another thing that JC has pointed out this morning, and by the way, hate to do this to everybody, and I apologize on behalf of all of us here, but the show today at noon will not air. JC has had some um, having some major technical issues this morning that will be fixed soon, but it won't air at noon today. So this was what you see is what you get. But one of the things he has also pointed out is that Big Tree is potentially making a move to supplant Case and Henry at right tackle. Now we've seen Big Tree at left tackle before, John, and obviously there has been plenty of intel about him potentially being on the inside, maybe at left guard or potentially at right guard. That's probably going to be Trevon Paul. Case and Henry was a guy I thought was pretty safe out there at right tackle, but if Big Tree is able to step in and take that position, what does that tell you about him?
Well, I think we've seen good things from Big Tree. His first 2 years here, he had to fill in for Josiah last year. I thought he played very well. I thought during uh, fall camp last year, the one or two times I got out there, I thought he looked very good. I thought he looked good this spring when I saw him. Um, you know, and he has a lot of playing experience. So he's a very experienced guy, and we all know he's a good player. I mean, there's a reason he was a highly touted 4-star guy
Right.
coming out of high school. So the guy had to come in and start as a freshman at left tackle from the injuries we had 2 years ago. So hey, like I said, best man, put the best five you got, and let's go from there. Nobody needs to get their feelings hurt. It's just, we're trying to go win football games. So I feel very confident if Tree had to be the right tackle, just from what I've seen from my eye test.
Yeah, 10 starts in his career at South Carolina. Trevon has 8, Josiah 13. Boaz Stanley started 12 games at Troy. He's in pretty good shape to start at center, John, as you well know. Case and Henry comes in with 14 starts this season, and the other most experienced offensive lineman on the roster from a starting standpoint would be Nick Sharp at Wake Forest. There's a lot of guys whose names are being mentioned. I mean, Marquis Anderson, Jatavius Shivers. It seems to me, I was told 8 or 9 a couple of weeks ago. I haven't spoken with this individual since then, but they feel like there are 8 or 9 right now. Like if they had to make a change, they're not at 6 or 7. They're at 8 or 9, where they feel comfortable about putting dudes out there. John, that's kind of where you'd like to be at 10 or 11, as we all well know. I got it. We all get that. But 8 or 9 at South Carolina says a lot. There's been plenty of years we maybe didn't have 3 or 4.
Yeah, no, 8 or 9 guys who can play. That's fantastic. I mean, think about an NFL roster; they only carry 8 guys on the
Yeah,
roster.
right.
So that's kind of what you want. You want 8 or 9 guys that you feel good about that you can put out there at any point in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a great number, and I don't know. I feel good. I feel good about this O line. I've been saying it since springtime. I think they have a chance to be much better than we've had here in a while. So we'll just continue to see how they progress. But like I said, the scrimmage this weekend is going to be it's going to be big for all those guys.
That is Big John Strickland. He will be moving back to Fridays soon as part of our Gamecock preview show heading into ball games on the weekend. All right, Carolina debuts at 13 yesterday in the AP poll. Your thoughts on the ranking and moving that ranking higher depends on what?
Well, I'm not surprised by the ranking. I figured it'd be anywhere from 12 to 16 is kind of what my thoughts were. So 13, somewhere right around where I figured. And, I'll tell you what, it's funny. I was texting a couple other guys last Thursday, and then JC comes on and does his morning coffee. So I was having my coffee and I just turned it on to listen. And I just said this the day before he said this on the coffee show was we have 4 5-star starters on this football team, which has never happened. It's never happened in the history of this university. Well, at least, since you know, the 25 years of, the star rating on recruits, right? Um, the most you ever had is 2. You had Pickens and Birch, and then you had Lattimore and Clowney, and that was
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
You've never had more than 2. You've had one guy here or there, but you've never had 4 5-star guys starting on a South Carolina football team. And then you sprinkle in all these 4-star highly touted guys. I mean, this team's got to make you feel good. But the thing is, you do have new faces, but everybody's got to gel together. All right, it's got to come together as one. So I think Ole Miss is a perfect example last year. Yeah, they went 9-3, but man, that roster they had was so stacked. Easily could have been 11-1, 10-2, and made the playoffs. So my point is, you can have letdowns even though you have all this talent. So it's just all going to come down to all these guys gelling together and being one. I think is where this team basically this team's projection is going to depend on the leadership of this team and keeping everybody together and doing the right things. I mean, offense, it takes one player to screw up one play. That's
Yeah.
it. Defense, you kind of have other guys running to the ball to make tackles, so you can have a screw up. But on offense, you got to have all 11 on the same page. And then on defense, I mean, you got to be mentally smart, especially with these younger linebackers, which not all of them are young, but they don't have a ton of playing experience. If you go and look through all the playing experience, all of them have, all the 4 guys we've been talking about, they don't have a ton of playing experience. And some's been because of injuries, some's just been because they've been a backup or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I think that's the thing is, you know, gelling as a team is a big thing. So I think if this team comes together, I mean, this is probably one of the most talented rosters we've ever had at South Carolina. Just in my opinion, and if you look at the paper stats, recruiting rankings, all this stuff, this is one of the most talented teams South Carolina's ever had. But all that talent doesn't mean a hill of beans if you can't put it all together.
Yeah, the 4 you're referencing, Nick Harbor, a 5-star, Josiah Thompson, a 5-star, Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, a 5-star, although not recruited to South Carolina, but by way of A&M. And then, of course, Dylan Stewart would be the 4th 5-star. And 3 of those 4 are in the trenches, and that's where you win games in this league, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you. You and I have talked about this in full agreement. I agree with you because you know more than me, and it makes a lot of sense. It's every like we literally do have the same conversations every single year going into the season, but there are always and we have to talk about all the positions and all the players. I get that. That's part of it. That's part of this. Like, you can't not have good wide receivers. We've seen around here what that looks like. You can't not have good wide or good tailbacks or running backs. We've seen what that looks like. You can't not have a good quarterback. I got it, but it always starts up front. Every time, every single conversation with Gamecock football or with any team in this league, if you're not good up front, you ain't gonna be any good. You're just not. You might be average or mediocre, maybe slightly above average, but that's not where this team wants to go. They feel like they got a chance to go out and get into the college football playoff. And so now for the first time in a long time, there's the depth and the talent there. It seems almost to me, and I'm not trying to like put some sort of a target on Coach Beamer and his staff. That's not what this is intended for. But like if they don't play well, I would be pretty shocked, and I would be very curious as to what type of problem they have that has caused them to not play well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we have one of the best coaching staffs in the country.
I do
So I
too.
think these coaches are going to have these guys ready to play. It's just all down to them putting it out on the field. So I'm not too much worried about that. I feel like this staff has done such a good job developing these players. I don't think we got to worry too much. That's just my feeling I get. I hear some of the national media, they're worried, hey, are they going to be able to replace these guys? Are these guys going to be able to do what these other guys did and that and this and that? But I just feel like with this staff, the talent on this staff, I don't worry too much about that part.
Mm-mm. I don't either, man. And I'm with you. Maybe I just wouldn't say it if there was a guy on the staff where I thought, I mean, they've had guys here that under Shane, under Coach Muschamp, under Coach Spurrier, that you kind of learned were, I would call, weak links, right? I don't know if they have one of those right now. Let me ask you this real quick. I was talking to Flynn about this the other day. Because we asked Shane last week, hey, how do you describe Mike Shula as an offensive coordinator? And he went on to kind of describe Mike Shula as a person, but he didn't. I don't know if he didn't take the bait, but he just didn't really go down the rabbit hole. I mean, you saw it. He didn't really go down and say, well, he does this, he does that, and he's big on using this type of stuff, whatever. So I was talking to Flint about what is seemingly now like the age-old question: what is a pro-style offense? Right? Like, is there such thing as a pro-style offense? Like Mike Shula coached in the pros, so I guess if you have an offense in the pros, that's pro-style. But what does that mean? And then how does it equate to college? And how do you adjust it? Like, what do you think about this whole scheme? Dow Loggins was the same, obviously, and he had to make some adjustments at South Carolina. What do you think about what Mike Shula is bringing now that he's the full-time play caller?
Well, there's been some questions asked here in the preseason from other coaches that have coached with Shula or against him, and they all kind of agree that Mike Shula is a great offensive mind, one of the best they've been around. So I don't know. That makes me feel pretty good because these anonymous coaches they asked didn't have to say that. They could have said whatever they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to get this kind of praise from his peers, it makes me feel really good about what we have coming up. Now, the whole pro style offense and spread offense and all this and that, it's just an offense. you know, I don't get too into this.
Aren't they like all blended together now, John?
Pretty much. Pretty much. I guess I was in a spread offense, but we ran the ball a lot, and it was a lot of zone and counter, and then we'd spread it out and throw it too. So I don't know. Is that a pro style offense? Who knows? I don't keep up with all that. I'm sure some of the offensive minded football geeks would maybe have a different opinion about it. But I just call it offense, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, you hear it, and I've heard it from some of the national people. Oh, Mike Shula is going to have more of a pro style offense. I'm like, well, the last guy was an offensive coordinator in the NFL.
I'll give you a perfect example. I will tell you this: the play calls in the huddles are different than a simplified like spread offense like I ran. Like I remember going from South Carolina to practice with the Redskins. The terminology was
Terminology.
in my opinion, they made it more difficult than it had to be.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I remember there was like 5 or 6 numbers called out with a name and then a color. The color was a snap count. Well, there during rookie minicamp, man, I was just like, hell, I only been here for a day, and you're calling out these colors, and I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
It was like, why? It's almost a little bit ridiculous. And I think we had some of that ridiculousness with two offense coordinators ago. Uh,
Yeah.
I heard, and I'm not going to, I just heard from inside the building and players that it was way too overcomplicated.
Right.
And I think that's what held back the team early in the 2022 season.
Well, that's
Um,
exactly what it was.
I know, but then they simplified it, and you saw what happened tail end of the season, wound up winning 8 games.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just think sometimes you try and get too overly complicated, and all it does is confuse guys.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of where I was going with this is, when you have a guy like Lenora Sellers with all the accolades, all the expectations, all the talent in the world, how do you, like, you want him to play clearly physically fast, but you want him mentally to play. You want the game to be slow, but his brain to move fast, right? Because
Yep.
he's processing information. That's what happens when you snap the football. And if there's too much and he's slowed down a tick, that impacts everything. And so I was really curious about that. Like, how do you take what you have and who you want to be, and then make sure that your quarterback is comfortable in doing these things? And my understanding, John, you step in and you overrule wherever you can here. And all the offensive coordinators that I've ever known about, I've talked to Coach Mangus about this. Matter of fact, we're going to get him on here really soon. It's like, do you not understand what I'm doing? No. Okay, just get rid of it. Like, we're not going to try to perfect something that's not clicking with you. Just throw it out. Just get rid of it. And my understanding is Mike Shula has a lot of that inside of him.
Which is good. You want to do what especially your quarterback, you want to do what makes them feel comfortable and what they're best at. So there's no point in having, a bunch of different stuff thrown in there that will cause you mentally to second guess yourself or to overthink plays. You just want to keep it simple and let the guys go make plays with their God-given talent. So that's what I'm all about as an offense. It's as simple as, walking up to the line, letting the center make a call to where the linebacker is on the front side you're working to. Then the running back feeds off of that. You give a little point and roll on with it. Quarterback knows, and just make it simple. And I'll just go back to 2 years ago when we had the other offensive coordinator. Like, he didn't let the center make the blocking assignment calls. The quarterback did, which made it confusing for everybody. So
Why would
I'm
you do
all.
that? Is
I
that
don't.
something that's done in football?
I guess some people do it, but it's the first time I've
Hmm.
ever seen it.
Okay.
But just make it simple so the guys understand. There's no need to get too over complicated about it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. We'll see. Everything I've heard though about Mike Shula has been fantastic. Heard he is a great person personally. I've never met him. I played against him, but I'm looking forward to it to see what this offense looks like.
Dude, he's Don Shula's son.
Yeah,
To me, that is just crazy. You know what I mean? Like, Don Shula's kid is the offensive coordinator now in South Carolina. Don Shula? Like the Don Shula? Ah, exciting. Yeah, I think I'll be so zeroed, and this can get, and I know we're at the end here. Phil, you could pop in, by the way, since you don't have to work from 12 to 2 today. If you want to jump on and say hello to John, ask for an autograph, whatever you want to do. It can get kind of mixed up and misconstrued by fans, John, much like it did in the bowl game, right? Like with a guy like Sellers, who his legs are a part of who he is. Like, they're not going to take his legs away from him. Like, they're going to use his legs in 2025, as we well know. But then also there are the plays that he has to create. And you got to go. This is what you got to do. Use those things and go do whatever it is that you're going to do. And then there's the plays where it's like, oh, he could run here, but he is throwing the football. So a lot of that can be confusing to fans. We don't know what the play call is. We don't know what the design is. None of that. None of us are wearing a headset. We don't know what's going on. But I can't wait to see it, though, at Virginia Tech, because they've been working with him on some things that are actually making him a better quarterback that might not be what he was doing last year when he just kind of took off and moved down the field, right? But in lieu of that, he's going to find a guy 25 yards. So I'm just so excited. We've never had anything like this here, to see how, like, all those little things that we don't understand, what it actually truly looks like.
Yeah, and you're right. We've never had a quarterback, at least in my 25 years of being associated with this university, never had a quarterback like Lenore's. And I'm excited to see how him and Shula gel together as OC quarterback, and how this offense goes. I think it's got a chance to be a very exciting year. It's just going to come down to the little things. It really is.
Sure is, man. By the way, I'm excited to see Isaiah Augusta, the transfer from Colorado. I love the pickup then. I love what I'm hearing about him now.
I love all these running backs.
I do too.
I'm just being honest. I think this running back room is a sleeper running back room, especially if Faison gets cleared. I mean, it's exciting. I'm telling y'all, and I said this last year, Fuller's going to be a great back at some point.
Yep.
He's going to be a great back for us. And I hope for him he just has the patience to just wait for his time. And then once his time hits, it's time to go. I mean, he's only a sophomore, so I feel good about this whole running back room, if I'm being just completely honest.
I agree, man. I think we see them all in week one. To what extent, who knows? But Blackwell will play the guy who is playing the best. This is not what was going on. All the best to Montario Hardesty. I don't even know where he is now. Montario's a good guy. But this isn't about trying to keep people happy. No, you're playing better. You're going to play more. It's just how it is. So, saw it last year. See it again this year.
Yes,
I love how, like, the national narrative is beginning to kind of, like, push the Gamecocks down heading into week one, right?
That's good.
That's exactly where Beamer loves his teams to be, right?
I'm all about it. I think everybody's national perception is, how are they going to replace the, 7 guys off that defense that are on NFL rosters now? That's what the national perception is. And I'm just telling you, from what I've seen, I'm not saying this defense is going to be as good as last year, because last year, is one of the best in the country. I mean, and one of the best defenses we've had around here in a very long time. I'm not saying they're going to be as good as that. Do I think they have the chance to? 100%. But I think they're going to be pretty damn good. And I think the offense is going to be much improved. So if you got a pretty damn good defense, maybe not as elite as last year's, but pretty damn good, who knows? I think the sky's the limit for this football team.
John, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I've said the same thing. And this all played out. John, Strick, we had this conversation, dude, back in February. We knew what was going to happen. They were going to get through the NFL draft, and all of a sudden the national prognosticators – now, look, they're still in the top 15, and that's exactly what Shane Beamer said in January. What happened? Oh, well, they got Lenore Sellers. They won 9 games. They got Nick Harbour. They got Dylan Stewart. They're in the top 15. That's the pollsters. But the guys that actually talk about it, this is played out literally, if you were watching these programs in February, exactly how we thought it would. You would get through the NFL draft, and then a lot of people like Josh Pate would go, oh, shoot, I didn't realize they lost all that to the NFL. I don't know about these guys just yet. I knew it was coming because people didn't know Boogie Huntley's name. A lot of them didn't know TJ Sanders' name or Tonka Hemingway's name. They just didn't. They do now.
I mean, it's like last year preseason. I told y'all on this show, even after spring practice, this is going to be one of the best defenses we ever had. And, of course, I'm sure y'all took my word for it, but most people just did not believe it. The national media had no idea. And look what happened. So I'm not going to toot as hard as I did last year about the defense, but I do think they have a chance to be really, really good. I really do. But we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But I think the secondary is going to be better than last year. I'll throw that out there.
Tough limb to stand on with Torian Gray being the position coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
You know, that guy he's something special, man. All right. We're getting closer, John. In 19 days, they'll be kicking off, man.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. We're getting really close. I can feel it.
If we can start actually talking real ball.
You know this next 18, 19 days is going to take a year to pass, right?
I know.
And then the season will get here, and then, it seems like a week goes by and the season's already over.
Every time. I know. Christmas, putting up Christmas lights. I'm like, oh, God, we play Clemson in 3 weeks.
It's wild.
Yeah. All right, man. Oh, I asked who was it the other day? Oh, DeMarco. I asked Pat if he was invited to the big pool party kickoff.
I was tuned in.
Yeah, he said he wasn't. So
yeah,
you're not going to be getting a Christmas card from the DeMarcos this year.
We did invite him to come over and hang out with myself and Garcia the other weekend, but
he didn't show. Yeah, that sounds right.
I don't blame him. I mean, we hung out way too late.
He minimizes himself with the evenings in Garcia. I don't blame him. I mean, you think about all those times he kept him out of jail, and I mean, Steve
Pat's got to be getting tired after all these years.
Pat was worn out in 2010.
Right.
Okay. 15 years later, he hadn't recovered.
Yeah. You know? Well, we didn't go anywhere. We sat at the house and drank whiskey, but
Oh, that's even more exhausting. Then you can't get rid of him.
I know. It lasted way too late.
Steve-O, we're just playing with you. All right, man. Good to see you. Can't wait. We'll talk to you. I'm sure I'll talk to you like every day, but we'll talk to you on this show again next week.
All right, guys.
Later, dude. Thanks,
care.
man. The big bad bouncer of the morning show, John Strickland.